Welcome to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics podcast, a lifestyle podcast with a magical twist. I'm your host, Caitlin May, and I'm a self-proclaimed Disney adult and childless millennial who is obsessed with Harry Potter, Florida Sunshine, and all things basic. Here on the podcast, I chat weekly about everything Disney, Harry Potter, theme park news, and navigating my basic late 20s life. Hello, Magical Basics. Welcome back to the pod. It is already February, and I am not okay. I can already feel 2022 going by way too fast. But for today's episode, our guest is a small Disney shop, and I'm super excited for y'all to hear her interview. But first, here is the Bibbidi Bobbidi broadcast. Starting in Epcot this week, a new character meet and greet has been spotted, which is so exciting. Starting this week, head on over to the Mexico Pavilion and make sure that you chat with Donald. Be sure to consult the My Disney Experience app to check sighting times. And additionally, Epcot is under massive reimagining currently. We're so excited to see everything new coming to life. But one thing everyone is waiting for is the opening of the new Guardians of the Galaxy ride, Cosmic Rewind. Last week, this ride got a huge, new, and exciting addition. The installation of the Nova Corps Star Blaster ship has begun, and we cannot wait to see all of it put together. Moving to Animal Kingdom, one of the most exciting meet and greets is back. It's one that I've personally been waiting for, and that is Kevin from Up. Starting last week, guests can now interact with Kevin again. She has always been such a joy to see in the park, and I'm so excited that she will be gifting us with smiles once again. So let's move over to Disneyland for a bit. The Lunar New Year celebration has begun in Disney's California Adventures. The festival includes signature food offerings and a special parade. And also in February is Magic Key Holders Appreciation Month. Magic Key is Disneyland's new pass holder program. So all February key holders can enjoy exclusive offerings and perks. So click the link to the article in our blog post to see all of the details on that. So across the Atlantic to Disneyland Paris, the park will be adding Avengers Campus to its gate this summer. This edition will be a main highlight of the park's 30th anniversary celebration starting in March. Web slingers will be making a move to this park, and the center attraction to this land will be a completely re-themed rock and roller coaster. And then the last bit of Disney news last week, it was announced that Disney has a live-action Aristocats in the making. Not much else about the project is known just yet, but fans are speculating that it will be very similar to the live-action remake of Lady and the Tramp. So that is all of the news for the broadcast this week. Be sure to leave us a rate and review if you're enjoying Season 3, and reach out to us if you or someone you know wants to be a guest. We would love to have you. So let's go into our chat for the week. We're sitting down with Lilly from Lilly and Stitch Creations. But first, we're going to have a word from our sponsor. So enjoy the episode. See you next week. And until then, Basics, stay magical. Hello, Magical Basics. Have you been thinking about starting your own podcast, but you don't really know where to begin? I completely understand. Because when Bibbidi Bobbidi Basics first launched, I felt the same exact way. Thank goodness I had Anchor to help me. If you've never heard of Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. I know what you're thinking. Katie, is it really that easy? Oh, it is. So let me tell you how. First, it's completely free. We love that. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And then Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's literally everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you so much to Anchor for sponsoring this episode. All right, everyone, I am so excited for today's episode. We have our friend Lilly today on the podcast. She's here to talk all things about her small Disney ear shop and just her love of Disney. So Lilly, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So I'm very excited for our basics to listen to your episode and to see all of your cute small shop creations. I definitely have been stalking your Instagram page and I have some favorites of mine. So I'm very excited for you to tell us all about what it's like running a small Disney shop.
Oh my gosh. It's exciting. It's exciting because I love Disney, so I love to make them, and the park has not been making, things that I favor in the last couple years. So it's exciting, but I'm also a mom, and I was a housewife until recently. I went back to work full time, so it's been exciting. It's been, what is sleep? Who needs sleep? It's been
That
great.
is a lot of juggling, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's fun.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I just want to hear a little bit about you and kind of how you got started making ears and like where your love of Disney came from.
Ooh, okay. Multi-part question. So love of Disney just kind of came from being taken as a child. My first time I went, I was like 6 months old. And then at 5 years old, and eventually we moved to Florida. So, constantly. And as far as the ears, where I started making ears was really at the height of Coco. So I'm not really sure what year that was, but right when Coco was kind of like, taking off, I think Disney World released the ears, the Coco ears that they have in the parks. And I remember being so excited for those ears. Like I hadn't been that excited for a year since the rose golds came out way back when. So I was super excited. And as soon as I saw the picture, I was like, what is this? What is this? Like the bow, I looked at the bow and I'm like, ew, why is it like that? I was like, who did this? I was like, who made this? I need to speak to somebody right now. And I was like, I feel like I could do better. I feel like I could do better in that. So I didn't start sewing right away. That's been a pandemic project. But I started with like very basic ears. I basically had, for my son's birthday party, I had leftover, the cheap, Minnie and Mickey's. I bought like a batch of like 50 for the birthday party, and I had so many left over. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to Michael's. I'm going to find skull stuff, and I'm going to make these myself for our trip. So I went to Michael's, got some 3D stickers, all kinds of like everything that looked to the theme, and just kind of put it together. I bejeweled it, just kind of added my own touch. And then my son wanted to make a pair, so we did his version. So we had like mom and son sets. And on that trip, everybody was like, oh my God, where'd you get those? Where can I find those? And we're like, no, we made them. So we're like, you know what? I don't need to buy Disney ears. I can make my own.
I was just going to say that I, too, was a little disappointed with the Coco ears that Disney came out with.
Yeah.
And the Coco ones were one of the ones that absolutely caught my eye when I was looking at your shop on Instagram because the Coco ones from Shop Disney weren't my fave.
Yeah, I was
so
not
that's
a
so
fan.
fun
The bow
that's
just
kind of the pair that started them all.
Yeah, it was definitely the Coco set.
Yeah, I wasn't vibing with them.
Yeah, it was definitely the Coco set that started it all. And also because in a way I'm Hispanic, I'm Peruvian. So I felt like that movie, these ears, like it was such a gateway to more Latin representation. And I was super excited. I'm thinking everything's going to happen in Disney World. We have Mexico. It's about to go down. And then we didn't get anything Coco for a while. And Disneyland had it all. And I was just like, excuse me.
I know.
I was like, we're right here. We have Mexico.
I know. I want the Mexico pavilion to be such a Coco celebration.
Yep. It would be amazing. I'm all for the retheme. I mean, I love the Caballeros, but I'm all for the retheme.
Same. I would live if they rethemed that ride to Coco. I wouldn't be okay, actually. I would not be okay.
I would weep the whole time.
Coco just strikes such a chord with me.
Yeah.
Right? So would you say that Coco is your favorite Disney film? Or I know you have a big affinity for The Lion King.
Yeah. So all-time favorite, yes, it's The Lion King. I meant every word I said. I will swing for Mufasa. We are Mufasa stans. I absolutely love The Lion King. My dog, who I shooed away before, this all started, his name is Zazu. We are Lion King fans in this house.
Oh, cute.
So that is all time. Like, if you were to tell me what's your all-time favorite,
joke,
it's The Lion King. It has to be, absolutely. What is happening here? Hold on one second.
So the joke is that the day that we're recording this episode is the day that Rachel's episode dropped, which is the episode previous to this one. If you haven't listened, Rachel kind of has a hot take where The Lion King really isn't her favorite. And Lilly DM'd me today and she was like, I'm so offended by all of the Lion King slander that is happening.
I was like, not
right now
me getting my feelings hurt over the Lion King slander. Because I listen to podcasts all day at work. I love it. So I'm typing in like medical records and all these medical terms, and I'm just like, oh, not Mufasa. Like, what? Like, I was laughing at my own death.
Oh my God.
It's always all love, but when the Lion King slander starts, I'm just like in disbelief. But I feel like I also see it among the younger Disney fanatics. Like, I understand you weren't alive in 1993, but I was, and that was the epitome of Disney. So, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it truly, like, that time period is truly, I feel like 89 or like maybe 88 through like 98, like that 10-year period is such like the golden age.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The golden
Disney
age.
Films.
Yeah. Yeah, like my 6-year-old is mind blown that back in the day there was no CGI and we had to like physically do everything. Like he would ask me, how did they make that? I'm like, oh, they made it with their hands, like physically. Someone had to come make the set. Like it was a whole, and he's looking at me like, what?
That's crazy to think, like growing up, like he's gonna grow up like not knowing what that is. Like I haven't ever thought about that before. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane because it's so like when they see something
I feel
they're like, why does that look like that? And it clicks. You're like, oh no, you only know CGI stuff. Like, no.
But we were watching Encanto the other night, and it was baffling me that I could see that they put like baby hairs on their like face and arms, like how we all have like peach fuzz. Like I was like, the animation nowadays is insane. Like they put peach fuzz on this character and like I see it glistening, like when the light hits just right, like I see it on this character's face and I'm like,
oh, absolutely. And that right there is Hispanic representation. Thank you for the peach fuzz. We appreciate that. Mm-hmm. I loved it. I loved it.
Facts.
But if you think about it, I feel like that started with Toy Story. The super tiny attention to details, like the close-ups we used to get at like Woody's eye and like his hat and hair. Like I feel like that's kind of where that started. I might be wrong, but that was where I noticed it, where they started, really focusing on the most microscopic details. It's insane. Who thinks like that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's just crazy how thorough they are. But I have to know, are you a Harry Potter fan?
I am. But when Harry Potter first came out, I was in middle school. And I have a middle school friend. She was like my closest friend then. She loved Harry Potter. And I was more like, that's kind of lame. And then she took me to one of the Barnes and Nobles, like midnight extravaganzas for the book. And I was like, these people are crazy. But wait a minute, this is kind of fun. So eventually I did get into it. I did start reading the books before like the movies really started to hammer out. But I tapped out at Prisoner of Azkaban. I tapped out. The books were getting bigger and bigger. And I'm a person that I never like to read, especially at that age. So the fact that I was reading these books was sufficient. I was like, as they just got more bigger and bigger, I was like, this is starting to look like those, like the old school Bible my mother has in her house. And I'm not going to read that. The movies are coming out and I will just watch the movie. It's fine. It's fine. So I gave up after Prisoner of Azkaban. I was like, this is the last one.
The books are huge.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. They're great. Like, they're amazing,
they get really intense.
I'm not a reader. I'm not a reader like that. I mean, I do reading. I have to read now at work. I literally sit and read medical records all day long. I don't want to read on my relaxing time. You know what I mean? I'll just scroll through social media instead.
Yeah, I get that. So, do you know what your Hogwarts house is?
Yes. So here's where it gets a little tricky because I never felt like I knew right away, like, oh, I'm a this, I'm a Gryffindor, I'm a Slytherin. I never really knew. Now, when it comes to Disney, I'm all about the villains. I love the villains. But I looked at the Slytherins and I was like, if this was high school, I'd be fighting with the Slytherins physically in the hallway. So no, I don't feel like a Slytherin. And after taking the tests, I'm a Hufflepuff, and I am kind of with the characteristics like, I see that. There's one characteristic I don't see, and that's patience. I don't have patience. But other than that, all of it, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the badger is cute. I love that. I think the badger is cute, and they're pretty vicious because if you've never seen the honey badger videos, you don't know. They are vicious. So cute and vicious. I like that. I'm
Facts.
Hufflepuffs.
Facts.
Yeah. And I know you love Hufflepuffs, so.
Oh, I live for Hufflepuffs. I have apparently surrounded myself with all Hufflepuffs. So yeah. I'm very excited that I have one more Hufflepuff friend to add.
Yes. I see the houses kind of almost like horoscopes. And the same thing happens to me. I just accidentally always surround myself with Virgos and Aries. And it's like, you know what? It's fine. We mesh well. We go. It's fine. I didn't think I looked good in yellow, but we went to Universal over the summer and I finally had enough people with me to wear Hogwarts houses shirts. So I did make shirts for my kids and I. We are a mixed house. And my husband, he's a muggle. He don't partake. So he didn't get a shirt. I was going to make him one that just said muggle. And he looked at me and he's like, what did you just call me? And I was like, never mind. Just wear a jersey. I don't know what to tell you. You're not part of the family. You're going to take the pictures anyway. So you don't need a shirt.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So I'm a Hufflepuff mom and I
always am kind of jealous of Hufflepuffs.
Insane.
Oh wow, that makes for an interesting house.
And they are to the T.
I've always been kind of jealous of Hufflepuffs for having yellow. I feel like it's such a happy color and all y'all's merch is so cute.
Yeah, I mean, I looked like a bumblebee at Universal because I wore that in biker shorts, but other than that, it was cute. So it was still cute.
Well, we are going to do our lightning round now.
Oh my gosh.
As a little refresher, I'm going to have Jonathan put 2 minutes on the clock, and we're just going to try and get through as many questions. And if you don't want to answer something, just say skip or pass, and we'll see how many we can get through. And if there's any that we want to talk about, we can kind of discuss and elaborate your answers a little bit more afterwards. Cool?
Okay. It's like a game show. I'm so excited.
Okay, cool. All right. Ready? All right. Which Disney villain could you be in a committed relationship with?
Oh my gosh, right off the bat. Villain. Ooh, that's a hard one. Maybe. Gaston. I'm going with Gaston.
Fair.
I'll be committed. I don't know about him.
Favorite Disney sequel?
Ooh, that's a really good one. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. And also because I grew up in the early 90s. So there were sequels I didn't even know existed. Skip. I'm not sure.
Okay. Which Disney movie had the best message?
Oh my gosh. That is a very good one. I'm not really sure. I could go with my all-time favorite, The Lion King, because it teaches you that you can't even trust your family. That's an awesome, awesome lesson for a 4-year-old.
Okay.
Probably Coco, you know, because it's true that your previous family members and stories that you tell, memories, they live on through you and your memories and talking about it and them. So I'm going to probably go with Coco on that one. I think it has the most like meaningful message out of everything.
Yeah. Overrated Pixar film. Overrated.
Pixar, I'm going to say, I might get canceled for this one, but I'm going to, overrated? Is Frozen a Pixar film? I cannot remember, because if it is, then I go with Frozen.
But
no?
I can understand you thinking Frozen is overrated.
We're going to say Up. I think Pixar did Up.
Yes, Pixar did do Up. So last question, which land do you start in Magic Kingdom?
Oof. Okay, so if I'm with my kid, we beeline straight through Liberty, because we're probably going straight to Haunted Mansion. So, yeah, I would say Liberty Square. If I'm by myself, I'm going to Tomorrowland, because we're getting Joffrey's before anything else happens for the rest of the day. So, yes. It depends on who I'm with.
Those are two very fair situations.
Yeah. If I'm with my kid, it's his choice first.
I get those.
And if I'm by
totally
myself,
understand that.
Coffee.
So at the beginning of the episode, you were talking a little bit about how you grew up going to Disney very young, and kind of how your first time was like at 6 months, and then you moved here. So I would love to know about the first time that you remember going to Disney.
Ooh. Okay, so it's actually going to be pretty close to coming up to 25 years. I was able to go for the 25th anniversary of Walt Disney World, and I was like, I want to say I was 1996. I was 6 when I went to the 25th anniversary. And what's funny is I don't remember anything but the castle. Nothing. I recall absolutely nothing from this trip except the castle. And I got a Disney dollar. And I told everybody I was rich. I would wave my dollar. It was like, I'm rich. My mom was like, pay for something. I was like, no, I am rich. No. And I wish I still had those, by the way. I miss the Disney
you are rich if you
so
still
much.
have that Disney dollar.
So I'm not sure where it is. My mother claims to have it somewhere, and either she's not looking, she lost it, or she's keeping it for herself. So I don't know. It should be, I would assume, somewhere in my mother's house.
You gotta find it, because
I want to. What I do still have,
it would be a pretty penny now, for sure.
Oh, listen, if I had a Disney dollar, I would absolutely not sell it. I would put one of my Mickey stickers on a real dollar and send it to somebody in the mail before I sell my Disney dollar. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What I do have, and I did take with me
That's
on
hilarious.
My last recent trips for the 50th anniversary, I still have my ticket to the 25th anniversary, which was a paper ticket. And it was super cute. It says 25, has all the characters on it. I'll totally show you if you want. But I was laughing because I met with some people in the park in November. And I don't know if you know Kate Killebrew. Hi, Kate, if you hear this. But she does like all the Disney facts and on this day in Disney history. So I had to show her. I was like, I know you're going to like this. Let me show you this. And she nearly passed away. She even remembered the little jingle from the commercial. And I'm looking at her like, oh my God, she's so cute. So yeah, I took it to Magic Kingdom. Also, when I took my family so I could get a picture with my grandma because she went with me 25 years ago, and I brought her for the 50th. So that was nice. That was very nice. Nice little Christmas with the family. Oh, I lost the headphone again.
That's
Sorry.
so sweet.
It was nice. It was a lot of fun. But my grandma was like not having it. My grandma was like, I've already seen Disney World, so I don't need to go back. And I was like, you haven't been in I don't know how many years. Like, everything changes. And she's like, nah, you've seen it once, you've seen it all over. I'm like, no, I am taking you to the 50th anniversary. I said what I said. I had to like basically, I had to use my kid. I was like, he wants to take you. And she's like, fine. I'm like, oh, not because I wanted to take you. Forget me. But my kid said, let's go. And she's like, okay. So I was like, all right. Hey, you're going. That's all that matters. I just wanted you to see the anniversary. Keep losing this one AirPod. I'm so sorry. It literally keeps flying out.
No, you're good. That's so sweet that you were able to go for 25 years and then go back with her for 50 years. That's so sweet.
And I hope I make it to the next one and the one after. I'm looking forward to the 75th, and I hope I'm alive for the 100th because I'll be there. I don't care if I got to rent a scooter. I'll be the one lady like back in my day. I used to be able to pay for a scooter. Like, what is this pod you're trying to sit me in? Where are the scooters?
Yeah, for real. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be like WALL-E, like those weird chairs that like.
Oh, you remember that? Oh
WALL-E.
my gosh. Although, listen, after walking a few days in those parks, that sounds like a great idea. That sounds like an awesome idea.
Right? Oh my gosh, it
Put
really
AC
is
in the
so
little
true.
pods.
So I would love to know what about Disney makes it so special for you.
That's a good question. I want to say just because like I grew up with it, so it's very nostalgic. And I think it takes a lot of people back to their childhood. I know it takes me back to my childhood, you know, no bills, no responsibilities, all fun. It's probably that. And of course, like the messages in like the Disney movies, because they're usually pretty meaningful. But rewatching a lot of the ones that I used to watch as a kid, as an adult, and realizing there's adult humor in a lot of these that flew over our heads completely. It was hilarious. I loved it. I was like, this is awesome, because it was for me then and it's still for me now. So I like this. I'm with this. And also too, like going to the parks growing up, because I did go as a kid. Those were obviously family trips, but I moved here to Florida when I was about 12. So we also had family trips here, because as the family in Florida, what does the family want to do when they go to Florida? Hey, let's go stay at Aunt this person's house, you know, and we're going to Disney World. So that's also fun. And I feel like a lot of my family trips to Disney, like with cousins and, you know, aunts, uncles, everything, like it's awesome. I love doing that. And you build a lot of memories too. So that, to me, I think that's what it is. And the parks are just so much fun, especially now as an adult. Like, oh, I hated Epcot as a kid, but as an adult, I can't end a Disney day without going to Epcot. You cannot end it. Like, it's so different. It's so different. Like, I used to hate Epcot when I was a kid, and I literally, because I loved rides. I loved rides. So there was no rides, you know, before Soarin' was there was nothing. And the only thing I remember is that I used to ride the Norway ride. Back in the day, it was Norway. Now it's Frozen. But back in the day, that was the only ride Epcot really had. And that's what I rode 18 times in a row because there was no rides here and it was so boring.
That ride scared the mess out of me as a kid.
Oh my God, I loved it. I loved it. It was like the best thing at Epcot back in the day. And I remember like a really weird like studio room.
I don't know about
it was like a green screen place in Epcot that we used to go take pictures in, and they would like green screen all kinds of crazy stuff in the background. But I remember seeing like the setup for Aladdin's carpet.
Yes,
where,
I remember that.
You remember that? I thought I was going crazy because I tell people this and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "No,
I remember that."
And it was awesome. Like, I remember like, I'm going to go dressed. I'm going to come dressed one time as Princess Jasmine. I don't need an Aladdin. I'm going to just throw myself on the carpet. I want some damn photos. But no, I went back and like I never saw it again. And then it was like, was that just me? Did I imagine this? Nobody remembers what I'm talking about. I say that and people say Disney Quest and I'm like, no, that was not Disney Quest. Like I vividly remember Disney Quest. That was not it. It's not it.
No, I absolutely remember that because I feel like I was dressed as Ariel one year and they had like an under the water one.
Oh, they had so many. But obviously, you had a paper picture, I'm assuming, because my mom would be like, we're going in, we're taking one photo, and we are leaving. I'd be like, what is this? I'm like, can't we just take a picture outside with the big hat? They're like, no, we need a photo in there. And I'm like, okay.
No, I follow this account on Instagram that's called Overheard at Disney. And I saw one the other day and I shared it because it was so funny because it was so true. It's like people send submissions in of what they overhear other people saying at the parks.
Oh my God.
And one of them was, just wait till you get older. Epcot will be your favorite then.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And my son enjoys Epcot. He's 6 and he enjoys Epcot, which is shocking, but it's because he had this crazy obsession with Coco when he was 3.
So I would love to know what you think it is about Disney and Harry Potter and these theme parks that is so important to people.
I think it's the escape, like the escape from the real world to go into this fantasy world of whatever fandom you enjoy and just forget that, your car payment's due tomorrow and you got all these bills and rent's due next week. And, you're just in the ambiance of your favorite fantasy world, whether it's Disney, Harry Potter, both, because there's a lot of people who like both and that's okay because that's my kind of people. So I really think that's what it is. And it's just enjoyment. I mean, yes, there are people who go to Disney and don't have a good time, but for the most part, those of us who go, we go for that release, that me time, because I do solo trips and they are amazing. As a mom and wife and full-time worker, small shop owner, like once a month, I gotta go. I will see you just the weekend. I will see you Sunday. Look at my family and I'm like, I gotta go. See y'all Sunday. You want anything? I usually bring my kids something, I'm like, anybody want anything? All right, I'm out. Nobody call me. Bye.
I love it. So
yes.
I want to hear more about your small shop. I know that you told us a little bit about kind of where it started, but yes. I would love to hear just the evolution of like turning it into an actual small shop.
Ooh, okay. So obviously since maybe about, when did we do the Coco thing? 2018 is I think when we did, I call it the Coco year because we went to Mickey's Not So Scary, dressed as Coco characters. I had to make those costumes. So it really started with me making costumes for my son and I when he was 3. And from there progressed to the ears. We did the ears. And I didn't really have an actual small shop until just a little over a year ago. Like I think I opened like right before December 2020. Yeah. Just a little over a year ago. And I started with the ears, but the only reason why I did that is because I was working on a pair of ears for myself and I was struggling and I already had bought a sewing machine because when the panini started, I was making masks and then found Disney masks. And then from there, I had all this Disney fabric that I planned to make masks with. And I told my grandma, like, I'm struggling with this pair of ears because she taught me how to sew. So she said, I'm struggling with this pair of ears. I can't get this. And I'm trying to add this. It won't stay. It's too heavy. Like, I'm going off. And she's like, do you have a real pair of Disney ears? And I said, yeah. And I showed her my rose gold set. And she was like, she looked at it. She looked at all the stitching. She flipped it upside down and was like, you can make these. And I looked at her and I was like, no, I make them like this because I can't do that. And she's like, you can do that. You have a sewing machine. And I looked at her and I was like, no. I was like, it's not the same. I was like, I'd rather just buy the base and, add everything I need to add. And she's like, no. And then she showed me the ears that I would use. And she's like, this is cheap. This is nothing. She's like, this is caca, flat. Threw it that way. She was like, no. She's like, I'm looking at the sewing lines. I could teach you how to do this. And I was like, nah. So I grabbed another set of ears that were Disney, but they were cheaper. I had got them on Amazon for like $15. But they were actually Disney. And she literally was like, do you care about this set? I'm like, no. She ripped it apart and was like, yeah, I know exactly how to do this. I was like, Disney uses string and hot glue. This is hot glue. She's like, this, ripped it all apart. She's like, it's cheap. We could do that. So she taught me how to do it. And obviously I had all these fabrics, like right here under this desk. I have a 5-gallon storage like bin just filled to the rim and exploding with all kinds of Disney fabrics. And we took it from there. She basically showed me how to do it and showed me how to do the headband because I didn't like the headband bare. Like I use the satin ones, but there's something about it bare that to me just, I don't like. I'd rather the whole thing be one color or one theme. So back in the day in Peru, she used to make all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And apparently one of the things she used to make was headbands. So she showed me how to do it. I adapted a little bit, you know, with what I know just to make it easier for myself. So you kind of mold it to your own technique. But she showed me, you know, the basics and the guideline of how to do it. And I started making them and I loved it because for the last couple of years, I have not been liking a lot of Disney's releases. Like right now, the only ears I care to buy from Disney World are the annual pass holder ears. Because I'm finally an annual pass holder. It's my first year as an AP, and I'm so excited. Right here. Yeah, I've been looking at them. I'm like, I wonder if those are the pass holder ones right there. I see them.
They are, yeah.
I love them. And then the other one is, it was one of the 50th anniversary pair. And I didn't like a lot of them. I liked the black leather one, but then I saw it in person, and it looks a little cheap in person. And I was like, I'll think about that. I'm like, I'll come back to you. Let me circle back. I don't know. But I do have a pair of 50th anniversary that I made. But that's something that I make while also supporting another small business. I bought personalized fabric from this nice woman on Etsy. And that's what I use for the 50th anniversary years. And that's why they're a teeny bit more expensive because I had to pay like triple, almost quadruple what I normally pay for my Disney fabric to get a yard of those. But I just didn't like the ones they released. Yeah. And my friends know that I have legit beef with the 50th anniversary ears that look with the big yellow bow with all the, you know, the Thanos Infinity Stones on them. I don't like them. I don't like them. They're so ugly in my opinion.
I was just telling Jonathan that the other day that I'm so disappointed with those because they just look so under quality than some of the other designs that they've released.
Yes. I was not a fan.
It's your 50th anniversary years. Like, and I'm very particular. Like, when I buy my ears, I always try and look for the ones that have, like, the straightest bow or, I just want them to be nice because, yes, I wear them, but, like, I like to collect them, too. And so I just want, like, the nicest one that I can find on the rack. And I'm like, every single pair of these, you can see the hot glue attaching the felt bow to the headband. Like, I just was very disappointed with those yellow bow ears.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know what it's been, but the last couple of years, like, I just haven't felt that need, like, seeing a pair of ears, like, I need those ever since the rose golds dropped. And that was the last time I remember being so excited. Like, I need to get to Disney World. I need to buy these. And back then I was, I think, either just exiting high school or like entering college. So I was like, somebody drive me to Disney World. I need to get these ears. But no, like, I don't know what it is. And every time I go and I try because I like wasting my money at Disney. But I end up spending most of it on food and liquor. So... because I try with the merch, but...
relatable.
Yeah. I mean, now that I'm back to working a regular 9 to 5 during the week, I can treat myself a little bit. But most of the time, if I have enough money to fill my car, let me crash somewhere on Earlo Bronson Highway for the night, and enough to eat for the weekend, I'm gone. I'm out. I don't need anything. I just started with the Loungeflies. The only Loungefly that, if I see it, I will purchase it on site, is the 50th anniversary Cinderella Castle one. That is it.
Oh, that's it. The cream colored one?
Yes. that beautiful, and you said
Yeah, that
yourself,
one is
cream
stunning.
colored. Cream colored. That means you're not going to Disney World. That means you're going to be on my wall because I'm going to spill something and I'm going to cry. So absolutely not. And the Encanto bag as a second runner-up. And that's it. That is it. So, yeah.
Oh my
so
gosh.
technically,
The
we want to
Encanto
circle back.
and the Encanto ears.
So, I'm gonna let you know a little secret. I just
Do we
purchased...
want to circle back to what?
I don't remember. No, wait, I do. Oh, never mind. I remember. But
You know.
I do remember. Let me finish that statement. I just finished picking out 4 different types of Encanto fabrics. So I'm hoping that by this weekend, I will have made at least 1 pair of each to show off, to wear. Because I like the Encanto ears. I like them. But looking at them, it doesn't scream Colombia to me. And looking at them, it doesn't scream Encanto to me. Like, you copied and pasted the ones you have in the Mexico pavilion is how I feel. Not the Coco ones. I'm talking about the Mexico ones, the ones you find in the Mexico pavilion. They're very similar in the design. So I'm like, Disney just set up another Hispanic movie, copy paste. And I'm like, no, do it right. Do it right. That's a current beef I have with Disney right now, is that I love that they're trying to be inclusive and I love that they're trying to diversify everything, but they're not doing it right. And that is such a beef that I have right now. What I wanted to circle back to was that all of this right now where I'm at, a year and a half later almost, is because my grandma helped me out. I spent a lot of time with her in the pandemic because I lost my job. So I was like, what are you doing? And I'd go hang out with her and we would sew masks and everybody was crazy about the pandemic. So, you know, I was selling masks at first since I was home and I had nothing to do. Then eventually progressed and bought a Cricut, bought a heat press, bought this, bought that, and just started taking off from there. But yeah, technically, all my grandma.
Oh, that I think is so special that you can circle all of that back to like your grandma helping you and stuff. And like looking back, those are going to be such precious memories to have with her.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Especially because that's what she used to do. Like back in the day in Peru, she used to, no matter what it was, like she was always home, but she always had some sort of like a job. So she would sew clothes. She would, when it got really cold out there, it gets very cold for their winters, she would literally buy, you know, like that really thick material and make sweatpants, sweatshirts. And eventually she would sell to like industrial, or she would just kind of sell to the neighborhood. It didn't really matter. And she was always like, you know, I'm all for women being home, but do something at home. Like always find a way to have money. I don't care what you do. And then she's like, no, I care what you do. Don't do anything. But, you know, always have your own money. So that was always her mentality. So when the pandemic started, I was like, well, you know, my husband has like the house bills and stuff for the most part. But, you know, yeah, I need my own personal expenses. So it started as that and then just kind of grew. And before I really went crazy with the ears, which I don't call them mini ears, they're called Minnie ears because they're made by Lilly. I am not a Minnie stan. But
cute.
No. I married Mickey Mouse in 2018. So me and her, we're not that cool. We're not that cool. I like her, I guess, but you know, she's not a fave. She's not a fave.
Hilarious.
Yep. We got married in Epcot. I made a TikTok video about it and everything because it was amazing. I think I stitched Victoria's video. My good old friend, Pineapple Princess, I stitched one of her videos where she
cute.
had asked what was like your favorite magic moment. And I was like, me. I was waiting for this. I married the mouse. It happened during my bachelorette. It was awesome. So
that's so sweet. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
I got pictures. I didn't record it because it happened so fast. It was so in the moment that I just kind of like threw my phone at the cast member because it was the chase photo spot. So I just like kind of threw it at her like, oh my God, just threw my phone.
Oh, yeah.
And she took pictures. But just 100 for effort for Goofy and Mickey because they acted out everything. It was the coolest experience I ever had. I was in Epcot. I was already halfway through the world anyway. So me and my best friend were already feeling great. And then I got to marry him. So I was like, oh, best day ever. Okay,
That
so
is
yeah, so I had to
cute.
switch it
Oh my
from
gosh.
Minnie ears to Linny
see.
ears,
Bump my
obviously
mic.
for legal purposes. But I just thought it sounds cute because, Lily made them, so they're Linny ears. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I do have some ears that I'm working on for myself. I bought a very small piece of Spaceship Earth fabric. So I do plan to make some ears to represent, my culture. I have some Peru ears coming for myself. I don't know if I could produce those. And I'm scared to even post them because I don't want anybody to see them and be like, I want them. And I'd be like, oh no, I cannot make that again because I bought the bow.
Them.
I bought the bow to look. I cheated. I bought a bow to represent the Canadian flag, but it didn't come with a maple leaf. So I'm gonna cricket press our emblem into the middle of the flag. So it's literally gonna look like my country's flag as the bow, and then the Spaceship Earth. So that's a project I've had on the back burner for myself for a while.
Cute.
But I want to start when I go to these parks, because I go every month. I want to start making statements, right? And I know Disney doesn't want to hear my mouth, so I want to put it on a shirt, right? So my first statement, obviously, I do want to make more, cultural themed ears that go kind of with everything. I do have some fabric I brought from Peru that's Incan fabric, so I want to make ears out of those. I think they look very cute. I just have to kind of finish designing them because the material is not regular cotton. It's a little more porous. So I'm trying to figure out how to not make the fuzz come out. So that's a project I'm working on. But also I have the Encanto ears coming soon. I just kind of want to show more representation in the parks because I feel like I want to see it more. I see them trying, but the effort is 70% there. I have a personal beef with the foods that they are serving because they claim to be authentic Spanish dishes and they are not authentic. They touch the recipes and I get to the park and I'm like, I will not eat that. They have some Peruvian food in Disney Springs that I was literally repulsed seeing that menu. Repulsed. I showed my grandma. I was like, they make salchipapas with chorizo. And my grandma was like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And then they were like, try our Peruvian dish, Baja fish tacos. And I'm like, we don't make tacos. Tacos and that kind of stuff, that's more Central American, there's a lot of dishes that involve more more of that, but that's not, we don't make tacos. I was like, we eat fish because in Peru there's a lot of seafood, and the reason why is because most of the people on the coast, you eat what you catch. They fish all day. You eat what you catch. So they eat a lot of seafood on the coastal areas. And it's because they have to. It's not a gourmet menu choice. They have to. You got to get your own food. But we don't make Baja fish tacos. I don't know where that came from. And I'm married to a Puerto Rican. And on that same menu, God, it was so insulting. On that same menu, it said they offered San Juan style empanadas. And I'm like, empanadas? Puerto Ricans don't use the word empanadas. They use two different terms. One is pastelillo, and the other one I cannot remember for the life of me. But they say two different terms for it, neither which are empanadas. So I'm like, all right, looking at this menu, I will never eat at Paradiso 37. And I say it like that because I will not say it in Spanish. Absolutely not.
I totally relate to the food because I was born and raised in Louisiana. And so we were very excited when Tiana... Yeah, we were very excited when Tiana ended up being from Louisiana because, it was really cool to see, our culture celebrated. But every time they're... I remember a couple years ago, they put out, that video of them making, traditional gumbo on the Disney page. And we were all
talks about this. Yeah.
The heck is that?
Yep. Everyone talks about the gumbo. And that's what I mean. If you're going to put the effort, you have ways and the funds to properly do your research. The same effort they put into going to these countries and learning about the culture and the graphics and everything for the movies, you can have that same energy and you can afford it too.
Yeah. So other than making your own Disney merch and having your own Disney small shop, what do you think is the most basic thing you've ever done?
Okay, so don't cancel me because it's something I love to do, but it is pretty basic. Everyone who knows me knows I am a Dunkin' girl. I am through and through a Dunkin' girl. I have tried on so many occasions to like Starbucks, and I don't care how you tell me to order it. It's too bitter. It's too bitter. Okay, the last barista was like, "Do you have some sugar to throw in this?" And they were like, "We don't use sugar. Didn't you get caramel?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "Where is it?" And they were like, "It's in there. Do you want more?" I'm like, "Please," because I didn't taste anything. But I try. Listen, I've tried to give Starbucks my money, but Dunkin' just, I think they know me. They know how I like it. I'm used to it. But the most basic thing I've done is grab a Starbucks and sit in front of the castle and peacefully drink it. Peacefully. That has to be it, honestly. Other than that, I'm a little extra. That has to be the most basic.
A recipe for paradise.
Yes, it's amazing, especially the solo trips. Because if I go with my kids, I'll be enjoying it for like a good 3 minutes before I hear, Mommy, can you check the time for Haunted Mansion? Can you check the time for Peter Pan? Are we getting Genie Plus? Are we getting Lightning Lane? And then my kid knows. He knows I have no patience. Are we getting Genie Plus? Do you want to wait in line, Mom? No, I don't. You're absolutely right. Pay. No, I do not. Especially not in Peter Pan. Absolutely not. I will happily pay. What time are you trying to ride Peter Pan? I'll get it right now.
That's hilarious.
Absolutely
oh my
not.
gosh. I know.
Absolutely not.
That line is always so long.
Yeah. For a ride that is continuous. For a ride that does not stop.
Yeah.
No, I just took my grandma on her very last Peter Pan flight because I didn't realize that those conveyor belts would not be so easy on seniors. So as my grandma went to get on it, I know how to take care of her because I'm like the grandkid that's always with her. Like I live the closest. I'm the local, I'm here. I spend a lot of time with her. So, I walk at her pace. I let her hold on to me because she's super frail. Like I know that if I drop her, if she falls, she's breaking something. So not on my watch. So I'm like holding on to her. We're getting on the conveyor belt and I watch this woman almost do a split. I was like, "What? I told you it moves." I'm like, "I told you it moves." And she's like, oh. And the CM, I watched the CM's like life pour out of his eyes. Like I was like, "It's okay. I got her. We're good." Fine. So I looked at her and I was like, "You're done.
Oh my gosh.
You are done.
Well,
no more of these for you."
You're done.
Yeah, exactly. You're done.
Well, I would love for you. Yeah. I would love for you to let our listeners know where they can find you and where they can shop your small shop.
Sure. So I am pretty much the same. It's Lilly and Stitch Creations on Instagram and TikTok. And I'm on Etsy. So if you need the link for Etsy, they're both on my Instagram page and on my TikTok account. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have that many apps. I don't have Facebook anymore. I don't have any of that stuff. It's just TikTok and Instagram. That is it. Don't put too much on my plate because I will not handle it.
I love it. Well, if you want to shop Lilly's creations, her Instagram, TikTok, and Etsy shop will be linked in the show notes down below, or if you are watching, in the description box as well. So be sure to go check out her stuff and give her some love. Lilly, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. And now that we've chit-chatted, I'll see you in the parks.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow the pod and let me know what you thought of today's episode. All of our links are in the show notes and description box down below. And if you're listening to today's episode, please give us a rate and review, and don't forget to include your Instagram handle to be featured as our basic of the week. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I upload new episodes on Wednesday and other videos for more Magic Mondays. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Until then, Basics, stay magical.